Hello students and welcome to our today's discussion. Having done matrices, it is good for us to look at an application question and see how we can apply matrices in solving real life kind of scenarios. So in the question that I shared, we had this information. We had three category of vehicles. We have the saloon cars, the station wagon, and the double cabin, and we were given the number of these vehicles per region. We had coast region, central region, western region, and eastern region. So we have 150 saloon cars in the coast, 300 station wagon in the coast, 400 double cabin in the coast, 110 saloon in the central, 200 station wagon in central, 300 double cabin in central, and so on and so forth. And then you are given another matrix, which is now on the spare parts. And we were told, or we were given, like the saloon cars, they need 17 belts. Station wagon, they need 16 belts. And the double cabin, they need 15 belts. On the plugs, the saloon, they need 12, station wagon 8, and double cabin 5. On a saloon, they need 9 of this particular item, 7 for station wagon, and the double cabin, they need 5. And then we have the tires, where the saloon cars, they need 4, the station wagon, they need 7, and the double cabin, they need 6. And then the first question that you were asked is for you to be able to determine the number of vehicles, the total number of vehicles uh, in that particular case. So it was a very simple scenario in that case. For the saloon cars, we just add all of them. Per region, we had 150 in coast, 110 in central, 90 in western, and 120. If we add all of them, we have got a total of 470 saloon cars in all the regions. For the station wagon, we do the same. We add the total number in coast plus those in central plus those in western plus those in eastern. The double cabin, we do the same and we get the total number of the vehicles. So having done that, the second question was requiring you to get the total number of spare parts that will be required. The total number of spare parts that will be required. If we put now this one in matrix form, the belts, saloon cars, they were requiring 17, station wagon 16, and then the double cabin 15. So we have got this. The plugs, the same case. The saloon, they were requiring 12, station wagon 8, and 5 for the double cabin. The same case to battery. So what we have here, it is actually the saloon. We have got, you need to understand that what we have here, what we have at the top here is the saloon. Let me indicate here. So here we have got the saloon, the double cabin, and the station wagon. So here we have the saloon. I want to indicate it here. We have the saloon, station wagon, and actually the double cabin. So you need to understand that. So that if we put it in matrix, remember for 70 here, it is the saloon, we have station wagon and double cabin. If we can refer to the matrix that we have here, if we can refer from what we have here, for 70 it's the total number of saloon, 900 is for the station wagon, and 1000 is actually for the double cabin. And here what we have, the saloon like that, like that. So when we come here and organize it in matrix form, you should be able to realize that now these are the saloon, station wagon, and the double cabin. So here we have the saloon, the station wagon, and the double cabin. So if we want to know the total number of belts, it is actually 17 times the number. Remember, this one is the number of spare parts per vehicle. So if actually the saloon, they require 17 per vehicle, and we have got 470 saloon cars, so we multiply 17 times 470, we get this. For the station wagon, each station wagon requires 16, and we have got 900, sorry. So if you multiply 16 times 19, we get 14,400. And then for the double cabin, each vehicle requires 15, and we have got 1,000. So we multiply, we get this. So it is actually this times this times this times this, so that we can be able to get the total number of beds that will be required. So the total number of beds are the number of beds that will be required by all the saloon cars, plus the total number of beds that will be required by all the station wagons, plus the total number of beds that will be required by all the double cabin. So the saloon cars are this, or the number of beds required by each saloon car is this times their number. The station wagon each requires 16 times their number, and actually we get this. So if we add this plus this plus this, that's where we are getting this figure from. So when we talk about the plugs, each saloon requires 12 times 470, which is the number of saloon cars. Each station wagon requires 8 times the number of station wagons. Each double cabin requires 5 times the number of double cabin. So if you do that, actually 12 times 470, you get this. 8 times 900, you get this. 5 times 1,000, you get this. For the batteries, you do the same. Each vehicle will require 9, so 9 times 470 for the saloon. Each station wagon will require 7 times their number. 5 for double cabin times their number. That's where you are getting these numbers from. And lastly, for the tires, each requires 4. For the saloon, we multiply by the number of saloon. 7 for station wagon times the number of station wagons. 6 for double cabins times their number. That is actually where we are getting so this one from. So remember, this one is 6,000 here. We have this is actually 6,000 here, not 600. So if you add that, you are be able to get you are able to get the number, the numbers here. If we add this, it gives you the total number of beds which we have here. If you add this, it gives you the number of plugs which we have here. If you add this, it gives you the number of batteries which are here, and this will give you the number of tires that will be required. And actually, we should have answered question part B. Now, the last part was requiring you to get the total cost of purchasing those particular spare parts. Remember, each each belt was costing this. Each, let me see those particular spare parts. We have got belts, plugs, batteries, and tires. So here we have their cost here: belts, plugs, batteries, and the tires. This is the price of each item. And here we had calculated the number of those particular spare parts. Like this one is the total number of belts, and this is the cost of one belt. So if you multiply this times this, it gives you the cost of all the belts. If you multiply this, which is the cost of a plug, times the total number of plugs, it will give you the cost for plugs. This one is the cost for one battery times the number of batteries. This one is the cost for the tire times the number of tires. You get this. So if you add them, you get this is going to be the cumulative total for all those particular spare parts. So remember, what we have here, it is the number of each spare part, the total number of tires, belts, plugs, batteries, and tires, and the cost. So if you multiply the cost over a belt times the number of belts, it gives you the cost of all the belts. If you multiply the cost of one plug times the total number of plugs, you get the cost of all the plugs. The battery is costing 6,500, and you multiply it. And actually, this is the matrix that we obtained in part B, which is this one, where we were talking about the number of each spare part. We multiply and we got this. So it is this matrix. Now we multiply by the cost. But you need to understand that the cost should be the matrix in front, because if you multiply, as the rule says, we will have now this will have a partner. But if we have this one coming in front, we'll find that those two matrices are not compatible and they cannot be multiplied. Actually, that is how that particular illustration was supposed to be done. I want you to go ahead and copy this particular answer in your books for future reference. Thank you very much.